Hey folks, welcome to the wedding brunch with the waffles.
Where do you think we're sitting?
Probably sitting right over there. Hey! This is our story.
Hi!
So, it started, about 3 years ago. I had just got back from my mission. I went down to Snow College and ran into one of my friends from high school, Tyrell Hansen. And he was on a date with Kacia.
I was introduced to this fellow.
I didn't remember that Kacia was there.
Rude. Several weeks later, this Robert kid shows up again, but he's on a date
with one of Kacia's roommates. Colton and his girlfriend, now wife, Brianna, who was also Kacia's roommate, had set me up on a blind date with one of their roommates.
So, Lacey and Robert went on this date.
In the midst of this date, there was this beautiful girl that just kind of floated in and out of the room periodically, and I kind of forgot that I was on a date with her roommate.
And that date happened, and I forgot all about this Robert kid because he was not relevant.
Harsh.
Months later, Robert and my friends got married, Bri and Colton.
Yay! I doted my attentions on Kacia through the entire day.
I was digging it. After that, I went back to Snow College, but I returned late.
And her one class was choir.
I just had this strange feeling that I needed to return to Snow College and take choir.
And she shows up, and the only seat available in the entire room was in the far corner of the tenor section next to this guy. Yeah.
Fast forward, I leave Snow College for a whole year of 2012, and during this fabulous year of 2012, do you know what terrible thing happens?
I got engaged.
Robert gets engaged, and I find out, and I am ticked. Why? I don't know.
That didn't work out.
But then that didn't work out, so woo woo. So, he was really depressed.
Like that.
So I returned to college in 2013, was back in choir with Robert. That was a good time.
Wrote a song about how depressed I was and performed it at a steak talent show.
Oh my gosh, it was terrible.
You ruined my life, took my dreams away. When I think of what I could have been, I look back here and say that you ruined my life. Stupid move. Stupid move.
I go up to him after, tell him how terrible it was.
Then Kacia comes up to me right after and said, "That was terrible." I think she was serious. And I started to fall for Kacia again. In my recovery from my depressive state, I said, "Hey Kacia, want to go on a date?" So we went to the
Midnight showing,
which was at 10 o'clock p.m. of Iron Man 3.
We got out of that pretty late, and we decided that we wanted to watch all the Iron Man movies thus far, backwards. After Iron Man movies finished, she was gonna take me home, I assumed.
Just kind of drove past her apartment and started heading up the canyon.
And then he told me terrible stories of Sasquatch,
Because Sasquatch is real.
which is not real.
Sasquatch is real.
It's not real.
Sasquatch
It's not
is real. He's real.
He's not.
He is.
No.
It's true.
No.
People have seen Sasquatch. People have been eaten by Sasquatch. I don't know if they've been eaten by Sasquatch, but... Real.
Stop!
Sasquatch are real.
He's trying to scare me with these fake stories of
Sasquatch! And then the sun came up and I took Kacia home after a thrilling 10-hour-long date.
Then school ended.
I was getting more and more interested all the time, and then Kacia moved home.
Then I moved to Austria.
Then Kacia was coming back from Austria, And she said, hey, Robert, we should go down and visit Bree and Colton together. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, yes, okay, that would be great.
For Thanksgiving, we finally made plans to go down to Cedar City to visit our friends Bree and Colton.
We feasted.
Robert crowns himself pomegranate king, which
I am
still to be decided.
king.
And
Am I right, Kevin? You see?
so then I kissed Robert.
It was wonderful, and then when we parted ways, I asked her, so, Kacia, where do we stand? Like, you and me, relationship-wise, where is this?
I was like, well, you're going to Nebraska, so that's where we stand. Bam!
So, all was well. I was fine. I was fine with that. But then I left, and I realized I wasn't so fine with that.
Then we were both terribly, well, I was at least, really upset. Because it's like, what have I done? I'm a mean, horrible person. I just want to date Robert. But I don't want to date Robert.
And I started going all crazy like, because I wanted to be with her all the time. And yet she was in Orem and I was in Ephraim, and that just wasn't working.
And there was a lot of inner turmoil. So then I decided I'm going to date Robert. He doesn't have a choice in this.
A little while later, I drove up for her performance in A Christmas Carol.
And apparently after the show ended, the lead, Scrooge, he goes up to Robert and says, oh, you must be Robert.
And who the freak are you?
Which I'm sure thoroughly creeped Robert out.
That's creepy.
After the show,
As we were driving, she says, hey Robert, you want to go steady?
I asked him, and his head pops up, and he's like, yeah, sure, that'd be cool.
But on the inside, I'm like, really? Really? Me? You wanted me? I was only a little bit excited. Just a little bit excited for it.
Then we were a thing. Da-da-da.
I arranged it for her and I to go up and stay a couple days in Logan for the Rasmussen New Year's party.
When we were going up, I was all like, oh, he's gonna propose when it's all midnight. But on the way up, he told me that he didn't have a ring.
She was thoroughly convinced by my clever deceit that it just wasn't going to happen. Unbeknownst to her, that the entire time I had her ring in my pocket. The entire time that we were together. Brilliant. So, New Year's Eve comes. Happy New Year! Fireworks! And no proposal. And Kacia was sad.
I was thoroughly disappointed.
I was sad to see Kacia sad, but I was also glad to see that my plan was working. Yeah.
So the next day, I had put the ring out of my mind. I was over it.
The next day, I wanted to just show Kacia around Logan a little bit. So we start walking around USU campus.
We wandered. It was cold.
But the entire time that we're there, I'm just scoping out locations. Where to pop the question. Where's it gonna be?
And we went and sat in front of this big old building.
The only bench that wasn't covered with snow. And I decide right then, it's like, this is it. This is where it has to be. This is gonna be it. And so we were sitting. Can't propose on a sitting position. I mean, you can't go from a sitting position to a kneeling position. That just doesn't look right. So I stand up, and she says, where are we going?
Because it was cold, and I didn't want to wander around in the cold anymore.
And I look over, and there's this statue of Abraham Lincoln. And I say, we're going to go talk to Honest Abe.
So we walk over to there, and he goes,
Well, Honest Abe, I want you to know that I didn't lie to Kacia, but I did deceive her. And at this point, I look over at Kacia. And I want to start the year off on the right foot. Or rather on the right knee. At which point, I drop to my right knee, and Kacia, in a mad panic, thinking that I'm about to make a terrible mistake because I don't have the ring, she's like, "You don't!"
You don't! Like, I was panicking. I was like, you don't have a ring. Like, stop proposing.
And then I pull out the ring box. And she's like, "Oh!" And I open it up. Sparkle, sparkle. Kacia Jacobson, will you marry me? And then she's like, yes, please!
I'd just like to clarify something right here and right now. The way he tells it, I don't sound like that.
Yes, please!
So good. I didn't cry.
And I cried and slipped the ring on her finger, and it was just magical. It was wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful.
And now we're getting married. And it's a beautiful thing. And you're all here to share this with us.
Long story, but
Good ending.
good ending.
Think I'll cry?
Tell yourself to not cry.
Don't you dare cry. No tears from you, young lady. You're gorgeous.
So I drove up the canyon and started telling her Sasquatch stories because Sasquatch is real. One second, I got it.
With our friends Bree and Colton. You know, they're gonna be so flattered that they are mentioned so many times in this video. Oh, that's us. Oh, that's us. So,
We're the ones responsible for us getting together.
yeah.
I love Robert Downey Jr. He's got a good name too. Robert. Good, strong name.
Anyway, we're getting married now. It's cute. Today. It's today! Oh my gosh! When we play this, it's today.
And I will always love you.
Good one. I was there.
Yeah, see?
I remember!
You were happy. You were happy without me.
I was! So
Dang it!
happy.
Love kills people. What?
So dark!
What am I thinking?
Beard just adds a whole layer of manly. Just can't get over
A
it.
literal layer of man. So how would you feel about getting married? And in my head I'm like, dang it! Oh, that was my dad's line! Ugh, that's what my dad said. I can do better. I can do better. I love you, Dad.
We're getting married! Not all of us, just me and Robert. That'd be awkward. Am I crushing it?
Yep, sure. How's my hair?
What hair?
Okay.
Come to our wedding.
They came.
Right.
They're here. You can stop it now. No? Okay.